Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Accessible Globe TV News. Beginning in the USA today, mobility is truly one of the wonders of life that many people take for granted. This is a story of about how 600 plus people got their freedom back thanks to a Connecticut businessman's passion and determination. It all started in Philip Pavon's pawn shop in 2009, where he stumbled upon an opportunity that would really make a difference. There were some motorised wheelchairs hanging around the shop, he said, that hadn't sold, and in an attempt to clear space for new items, he placed an ad in his local newspaper offering them for free. Within 2 weeks, he received more than 60 letters in response to the ad. It was then that Mr. Pavon began to realise the scale of the problem. Many of those who wrote confided that their insurances could not cover the cost or would not cover the cost of a motorised wheelchair, which can run between $4,000 to $40,000, and they couldn't afford the cost themselves. At that moment, he said, I realised how many people were out there suffering. It was unbelievable, said Mr. Pavon. Some of the people writing hadn't left their home for months or even years at a time. Many were elderly and had no one to help them. As a Vietnam veteran and cancer survivor who deeply empathised with the letters he received, Pavon decided to take action. First, he bought, repaired and gave away 4 more used wheelchairs. It was during this process that he realised how many of them were just sitting around in basements and garages unused or broken, and he began asking people to donate them so he could repair them and give them away. And AZ Pawn Gifts and Mobility was born. His process of pairing recipients with their chairs and scooters culminates each year with a major event during the holiday season when 100 chairs and scooters are given away in a single day. Those who have benefited included an elderly Holocaust survivor, a World War II veteran, a woman in her 20s with a rare degenerative disease, and I'm going to get that word right one day, and a number of patients at the local nursing home and rehabilitation centres. So a huge range of people is benefiting from Mr. Pavon. Once we give these chairs to people and see how grateful they are, he said, the tears and the hugging and the kissing, I know we're making a difference. These chairs offer a way for people to live an independent life. Mr. Pavon accepts donations from March 1 to October 31. Chairs and scooters can be dropped off at his AZ pawn shop in Norwich, Connecticut, or volunteers can pick up unwanted chairs within a 40-mile radius of the shop. I'm just hoping that is American. I'm sure it is. To Australia now. I know where that is, Carl. An Australian charity has launched a bushfire relief website to help people with disability get much needed equipment during times of crisis like the current bushfires. Idea's Ability Bushfire Relief website aims to provide essential resources for Australians with disability who are starting to recover from the bushfires, especially in areas where the NDIS support is not available. Items such as wheelchairs, walkers, scooters have been donated or lent out for free. People with disability in bushfire areas can also request wanted items. Idea's Executive Officer, Diana Palmer, said that the website was a critical resource for people with disability because access to necessary equipment was typically much more difficult during an emergency. The website is a grassroots initiative to support people with disability to recover from bushfires and other crises with essential items and equipment to support their needs. By facilitating the community to list items that are readily available, we can fast-track access and protect the mobility and dignity of anyone in need, Palmer said. The Ability website fills a gap while the NDIS gets its specialist assistance and equipment replacement processes in order, she said. It means that people will be less isolated and maintain more of their independence in the wake of the fire emergency. Now, you can actually call Ideas in Australia at 1-800-029-904. That's 1-800-029-904. Available Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Heading to the USA now. Researchers found that blue-collar workers are at the highest risk of suicide. CDC finds adults working in construction are at significantly higher risk for suicide. The study uses data from nearly 21,000 deaths recorded in the 2016 National Violent Death Reporting System. The suicide rate has surged 40% in the US over less than 2 decades, with blue-collar workers, particularly mining, oil field, construction and auto repair workers, at significantly higher risk, according to new research from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The CDC analysed suicide rates by industry and occupational groups by gender, using data from 32 states that participated in the 2016 National Violent Death Reporting System. We will now continue on to the next story, which, if I remember the right one, we're trying a new teleprompting system here today, and it's been somewhat interesting, so bear with us. The next story, though, is a very interesting one. And I say that with the eyebrow going up a little bit like Mr. Spock. I know that Carl had the picture. Have you still got the picture of Mr. Spock? No, okay. A hearing impaired man is suing Pornhub for what he claims is a violation of the American Disabilities Act. I've got to get this right in case I put somebody else's name in there. Yaroslav Siras says he has been discriminated against because certain videos do not carry subtitles and he can't follow the racy plots. He has filed a class action lawsuit against the company, suggesting it's a denial of access, reports America's biggest gossip site, TMZ. He is suing Pornhub for violating the American Disabilities Act and says the lack of dialogue is not only ruined his experience, but it's against the law. I'll continue for just a little bit longer so that you know that it is actually really happening. Court documentation states that Siras believes a lack of closed captioning violates his rights. The amount of compensation he is seeking has not been disclosed. In a statement, Pornhub confirmed the legal action. Vice President Corey Price said, "We understand the gentleman is suing Pornhub for claiming we've denied the deaf and hearing impaired access to our videos. While we do not generally comment on active lawsuits, we'd like to take this opportunity to point out that we do have a closed caption category." So that's a very interesting story there. I'd like to know what, you can leave comments down the bottom when you're looking at this and tell us what you think. Do you think it is a violation of the Act, or do you think he's being unreasonable? How do you feel about that? I mean, there are plenty of movies that I would like to watch that don't have English subtitles, and this is just mainstream movies. I don't feel like it's a violation of my rights, and I know that they are improving as time goes on. Most movies are now including at least English subtitles. I'm in Thailand. Imagine trying to find some of those movies with Thai subtitles so that my friends here can watch a movie with me. So it's not just a situation that is specific to porn sites, let me tell you. That's our interesting story for the week. Before I go, I just want to warn people out there. We went to Malaysia, Carl and myself, last week, and we travelled on Air Asia. Now, we often travel on Air Asia X from Australia to Thailand, and their service has been nothing short of fantastic and exemplary, just really, really, really good and really helpful. Air Asia is a separate company within the umbrella of Air Asia, and we travelled from Thailand to Malaysia and got off at the Kuala Lumpur airport, I think, wasn't it, Carl? Yep. And we had the most terrible experience. Apparently, I had not filled in the website correctly to say I needed assistance, so it took around about 30 minutes to get off the plane. Then I was just deposited up the top of the ramp and told that I had to get myself quite a long way to the baggage, which I couldn't possibly do. There was another gentleman with us there who was on crutches and could not have done the same thing. Meanwhile, numerous amounts of accessible wheelchair buggies were zooming backwards and forwards. When we asked about them, they said they were for VIPs. Eventually, after nearly 2 hours, we got some assistance to take us to the baggage. They explained to me that I hadn't filled out the website properly. And I asked them what would happen on my return trip. They said, you'll have to pay 200 ringgit, which is about 40 something American dollars, nearly 60 Australian dollars, for the privilege of being helped onto the plane on my return journey. Thankfully, I got onto the website of AirAsia, managed to fill out the website to their standards or happiness or whatever, and we didn't have much of a problem on the return trip to Thailand. All of the service, all of the help we got from Thailand was exemplary. The people in Malaysia were absolutely fantastic. We'd like to do tours there. It was just a great place to visit. But be warned, if you're going with AirAsia or going to the Kuala Lumpur airport, to make sure you do fill in all the things you need on the website, or you're going to have an experience much like Carl and I had, which was not fun. Well, that's about it for this week's Accessible Globe TV news. We're heading off on a tour of Thailand this week, so we're really excited about that. Don't forget, if you'd like to be a presenter or a contributor to Accessible Globe TV news, we really do need you. Please email us at news@accessibleglobe.tv. Thanks very much for being with us today, and we'll see you again next week.